When we hear the Heart Sutra, the voice speaking is not the historical Buddha. It is the voice of a Bodhisattva, Avalokiteśvara, the embodiment of great compassion. This is already a profound teaching. The deepest wisdom of emptiness is not spoken by a distant philosopher, but by compassion itself. Wisdom and compassion are not two separate qualities. They arise together, support each other, and complete each other. Today, we will explore who Avalokiteśvara truly is, not as a mythological figure far away from us, but as a living expression of the awakened heart. We will see how compassion becomes wisdom, how wisdom matures into compassion, and how this union is at the very heart of the Heart Sutra. Who is Avalokiteśvara? The name Avalokiteśvara is often translated as the one who looks down with compassion, or the one who hears the cries of the world. This meaning is especially emphasized in chapter 25 of the Lotus Sutra, the Universal Gate, where Avalokiteśvara responds to the suffering of beings in countless forms according to their needs. But Avalokiteśvara is not a god who intervenes from above. He's a symbol, and more than a symbol, of awakened responsiveness. To look here does not mean to observe from a distance. It means to see deeply, to see suffering without turning away. Avalokiteśvara in the Heart Sutra. The Heart Sutra begins, Avalokiteśvara Bodhisattva, practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, clearly saw that the five aggregates are empty and transcended all suffering. This is crucial. Compassion does not come before wisdom, and wisdom does not come after compassion. Avalokiteśvara's compassion is grounded in deep insight into emptiness. Because he sees that the five aggregates are empty of a fixed self, suffering loses its solid foundation. This echoes the Buddhist teaching of non-self, anatta, in texts such as Samyutta Nikāya 2259 and Natalakkhana Sutta. But here it is expressed through the living activity of a bodhisattva. Compassion without attachment. Many people think compassion means emotional involvement or absorbing the pain of others. But the compassion of Avalokiteśvara is different. Because it is rooted in wisdom, it is free from attachment. In the Vimalakīrti Nirdeśa Sūtra, bodhisattvas are described as entering the world of suffering without being stained by it. Like a lotus growing in muddy water, Avalokiteśvara can respond endlessly because he does not cling to outcomes. He helps not to become a helper, not to be recognized, not to save a self or others as solid entities. Compassion flows naturally when the illusion of separation dissolves. A simple example, listening without fixing. Imagine someone comes to you in pain. Often, we immediately want to fix the problem. We offer advice. We compare experiences. We try to reduce discomfort, ours and theirs. But sometimes the most healing thing is simply to listen. To listen without trying to change the other person, to listen without needing to be useful. This is Avalokiteśvara's compassion. In fact, in East Asian traditions, Avalokiteśvara is known as One Yin, the one who hears. Hearing deeply is already an act of wisdom. Why compassion requires wisdom? Without wisdom, compassion easily turns into burnout, frustration, or subtle control. We want others to change so we can feel better. We want suffering to disappear quickly, but suffering does not always disappear. In Majjhima Nikāya 21, Kakachupama Sutta, the Buddha teaches boundless patience and compassion, even in extreme conditions. Grounded in non-hatred and clear understanding, Avalokiteśvara embodies this patience. Because he sees that all phenomena arise due to conditions, he does not blame. Because he sees impermanence, he does not despair. Because he sees emptiness, he does not cling. This is compassion stabilized by wisdom. Many forms, one heart. The Lotus Sutra describes Avalokiteśvara appearing in many forms as a monk, a layperson, a woman, a child, even as different beings, depending on what will help. This does not mean Avalokiteśvara is literally shape-shifting. It means that true compassion is flexible. Sometimes compassion looks like kindness. Sometimes it looks like firmness. Sometimes it looks like silence. If we cling to one image of what compassion should look like, we miss the moment. wisdom allows compassion to adapt. Avalokiteśvara and the cry of the world. Why does Avalokiteśvara respond to suffering? Not because suffering is personal, but because suffering is universal. In Samyutta Nikāya 36, the Buddha explains that pain is inevitable, but suffering arises from identification and resistance. Avalokiteśvara hears the cry beneath the story. Behind anger is fear. Behind greed is insecurity. Behind despair is clinging. To hear this deeply is already to reduce suffering. Modern example, compassion at work. Imagine a difficult colleague. They criticize, they interrupt, they create tension. A surface response is irritation, but Avalokiteśvara's approach is to look deeper. What conditions produce this behavior? Fear of failure? Desire for recognition? Unseen pressure? This does not mean tolerating harm. It means responding wisely rather than reactively. This is compassion informed by insight into causes and conditions, the essence of dependent origination taught throughout the Nikāyas. Emptiness is the foundation of compassion. The Heart Sutra repeatedly emphasizes emptiness. Why? Because as long as we believe in solid selves, me and you, compassion remains limited. We help those we like. We avoid those we fear. We judge those we do not understand. When emptiness is realized, boundaries soften. Your suffering is not separate from mine. My well-being is not separate from yours. This insight naturally gives rise to compassion without moral pressure. Avalokiteśvara is not outside of you. One of the most important teachings is this: Avalokiteśvara is not only a figure to worship, he is a quality to realize. Every time you pause before reacting, every time you listen instead of judge, every time you act without expecting reward, Avalokiteśvara is present. In Anguttara Nikāya, the Buddha repeatedly emphasizes cultivating wholesome qualities through practice, not belief. Compassion becomes real when it is embodied. Practicing as Avalokiteśvara. How do we practice in the spirit of Avalokiteśvara? We begin by looking deeply at our own suffering. We notice how clinging creates pain. We see how identity hardens experience. We soften around our own struggles. From this understanding, compassion naturally extends outward. This is not self-centered, it is honest. As the Buddha taught, one who understands suffering understands others. The union of compassion and wisdom. The genius of the Heart Sutra is that it places Avalokiteśvara at the center of emptiness teaching. Emptiness without compassion becomes cold. Compassion without wisdom becomes exhausting. Together, they liberate. Avalokiteśvara shows us that the deepest insight into reality is not detachment from the world, but full, fearless engagement with it. The Bodhisattva Avalokiteśvara is not distant. He lives wherever wisdom sees clearly and compassion responds freely. In hearing the cries of the world, we learn to hear our own heart. In seeing emptiness, we discover boundless care. This is the message of the Heart Sutra, that awakening is not escape but presence. May the compassion of Avalokiteśvara guide our understanding, and may wisdom shape our love for ourselves and for all beings. This is the living heart of the Dharma.